Hello everybody, welcome to this thingy Medulla. Create a look back through thing. Do one quick thing also, because I need to check something because my mind is rather amazingly forgot when the episode this was going to come out. So yeah. We're about to get to angle number 2 with a few quick stories. We've got first one to be the battle team up with the X-Men. The original X-Men. It is a bit funny than the other section. Yes, it's amazing how famous they've become in such a short time. Yes, they're famous since they're always infamously evil, apparently. Uh, yeah. Bit of an yeah, turns out in one of the Strange Tale things, Iceman and Johnny had teamed up together. By accident, Thing ends up in the sea, making Alicia sad, and the Puppet Master and the Mad Thinker decide to team up together. Involving evil necessariness. It's a pretty smart idea which involves making the puppet Professor X. Make him evil, to finally make him to evil. And apparently brainwashing him to attack them. It's a bit of an insane and fun battle between the group. So everyone looks really weird in the leather. Everyone looks fine as Cyclops. That's because he's so common. He has that red and that leather with blue costume. Everyone else looks weird. It's seriously weird. Iceman looks bizarre. It's just pretty decently impressive fight. Two ends up getting kidnapped. They figure out that somebody was being brainwashed. He'll invent no extra arms since he put on this year, the only non-human powered anyway. Brilliant. That's it. Set the radar computer to the vibration frequency of the Dr. Huntington. Furry. I like the old days when they said they went that way. Brilliant. It's one of the best crews they've ever done. It's a bit of another big battle from beginning to end. We can fly out, and then the battle sort of goes out of control. When the Thinker, he then brainwashes everyone, except for the only one who's intelligent enough to fight back, Beast. He ends up attacking, destroying the puppet. And the battle goes even more insane as he battles the gigantic Thinker android. What's his name? Right. Johnny and Grim ends up fighting back in a pretty intense fight. Then Professor X ends up knocking him out. The Thing ends up going completely bonkers and attempting to knock them out. They fly away and they apologize for what's going on. Now we have, I think it's when we start getting to some of the bigger ones. It started on Yancey Street. They end up going there because apparently of something. And Grim and Ben ends up, and Grim and Thing ends up getting ghosts on himself. There's no time for a lecture. They end up flying around. I think he should just forget the whole silly incident. Forget the anti-gang, as I forgetting Pearl Harbor. It's a bit comfortable. You end up trying to figure out who could actually be the person behind them. Evil anti-gang attacks. The two break up, which was a recurring joke. There's not the hilarious moments involving a booby trap going off. Well, the anti-kids. There's a joke that the comic does. I think there's a joke. He revealed later on that a large amount of those pranks weren't actually from the Yancey Street. They're actually from just Johnny making pranks. Turns out that the battle that's going on, turns out that the Yancey are being controlled by the Russian dude, whose name I've forgotten again. By Ghost, that's his name. A bit of a fun battle from beginning to end. The ape ends up being forced onto the ship. Against the moon. We get a bit of a bunk into a fight going on again. Whatever. They nearly die of air from being crossed on the moon, but thanks to Super Steel, they're able to survive. The team is able to barely get out, get into a special chamber, the home of the Watcher. The Watcher ends up revealing himself because he understands why they are here, to allow them to move, to allow them to figure out what is going on. So they can end up creating a device so that they can escape. We get a bit of a big battle from beginning to end. He's defeated by a Fan. That could have been something more battle at all. So, anyway, Ghost is trapped into an everlasting portal. And then they're teleported back to Earth. Then this one. Now we have Diablo. A very minor one who I think shows up in the entirety as shown up. I think the only time he's ever actually shown up as a villain of Fantastic Four. That's it. That's all he's done. Fantastic Four there was apparently of someone called Diablo, is there? I'm encountering the mayor of this territory, a baron named Hugo. It turns out Diablo was an evil alchemist whose strange potions menaced his land, menaced all of mankind. The ancestors of Biel is in this castle. So what are you scared of? He's planning on pushing up daisies now. Apparently he isn't. Being is brainwashed into encountering Diablo. John Ingram's brain is hypnotized into the situations. The bit of bananas fight from beginning to end. He ends up creating a pretty evil plan, which, as it turns out, Diablo is a massive fraud. Then Ben ends up finding out, and he gets extremely angry. The Diablo is apparently deciding to declare war on Earth. We then get an even more insane battle from beginning to end. It involves him crashing missiles into mountains, a stun sour going really bonkers. Basically, Diablo gets demolished by the groups. I mean, absolutely demolished. They are able to partly awaken Ben again, who's obviously unconscious. Diablo captures the group. Grim escapes, and he does not treat him lightly. He stomps the floor, and he ends up going up to chaos as he just whips through him. In defense day, he has terrifying Diablo and escaping. The team escapes. That's what that lies. Now we are going into annual number 2, where we got a bit of a backstory again. Now I just need to see what's going on. Give me a second to check something. I have no idea when 3-1 is. Angle number 3 is a pretty important one because of how powerful it is. Okay, so we get to 43, that's when we're going to have the big ones. The backstory of Doom. Dr. Doom. We first see Doom on his chamber with a cap on his arm. That symbol looks almost disturbing like Daredevil. Weird. Boris, who's a close friend, I think they sometimes keep changing things slightly. But the main thing that we do know is that Boris has known Doom for an extremely long time. And he deeply cares about Boris. Care about each other. I think at one point when Boris was legitimately ill, Doom legitimately did everything he could to make sure he could be alive. That's how much of a friendship they have. We then get to see Doom's backstory. About the fact he's actually Romani. And that he was ended up using to say his father was apparently accused of killing the wife of a baron. When in reality she was going to die no matter what. The baron's group slaughtered the Romani, leaving the two of them just to hide. Boris ended up finding them, even though after the father had just died in the cold storm. Doom ends up showing he's a very intelligent scientist in hiding. One of his brilliant situations is that he ends up getting executed, but as it turns out he was tricked. He was tricked because he was a mechanical man. He ended up fighting and hiding away. And then the Dean of Science at the State University, it's the Empire. It's something State. Can't remember the names. A lot of characters go. That's basically like the big one. Spidey's one. Peter Parker's one of the people in charge of it. Reed ends up creating situations by getting their arguments overall. Reed ends up getting a new partner, or a new pal, with Benga himself. Doom is consistently getting more powerful experiments, and he ends up discovering his idea to try and find his. I think he's finding something. Finding something. And he's trying to find his mother. Depending on how that counts, I may be reviewing at one point. Doom runs away after being caught. It's the explosion that we keep seeing. I think it's it twice already. When he then leaves to find a mysterious order of monks. But he puts on the mask and becomes Doom. He creates a flying harvest. And that's the end of the backstory. Anything else? Don't do that. And we get the next big one. The final victory of Doctor Doom. They're going out of control by crashing a plane. Crashing a fantastic car. Two get into arguments and bickering situations. We decided I'm going to outer space. Well, Rama Tut, aka that Pharaoh dude from several issues ago, is found. Turns out Doom is actually his ancestors. They end up figuring out that because of the timing situations, they may need to work together. Doom suggests that if it points out that if either of them is slain, then the other will prepare us. Or there was this, well, really he can't die, whilst he's fine. That's it. That's even this bad. Doom ends up Naruto brings him back to Earth, whilst he returns to the future. Doom goes back, whilst that's the only last time we see Rama Tut. He ends up crossing on there. And the new leader, the very ambassador, encounters him. As such, he's terrified. They were invited to a party. The party of Doom. Doom, 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 doomy, doomy, doom, doom. He gets an invitation to the party. And then Doom ends up getting a pretty interesting idea. By making them drinking a powerful chemical to trick them. He gives them fantastic for everyone else has been brainwashed. Then the two get into a fight. While there's more of them using pretty smart strategies involving robots. Moving holograms. And we get a bit of a bananas fight. With the two of them fighting each other. Doom is activating a concealed stud. This is to hide his evil mind. And Doom and Richard's battle. Okay. We do is I've been such a fool. Not a fool, soon, merely a female. You couldn't have acted differently. Ugh. Then they end up creating a bit of a plan and finding him. He ends up setting up a powerful force field. Integrating the gizmo to create a powerful Nova Flare and weakens him. Doom and him get into another battle from beginning to end. For a female. And Doom is apparently vaporized. As it turns out, he ended up having the same illusion trick. That is the end of. Wait. This one's later. That is the end of this one. One more to do. Maybe one or two, actually. And now we get Mr. Mole Man. Again? I think that's when we start getting about. Yeah, let's see, from now on, we're going to start getting longer stories. Lesson 1 and 2. An earthquake strikes New York. They're trying to figure out what's going on. And then Sue sees someone having escaped. They discover an entire city block which has apparently vanished. We see the Mole Man's plan. They end up flying and bouncing away. Turns out Sue has gone to the headquarters, police headquarters, about which means to be to do with a fugitive. Sue was accidentally kidnapped. He better have his life and so his old pay up. Okay, that's a cool line. They end up in the plane getting trapped and captured by gigantic steel tentacles. Bombs, booming, banging. And then they crash into the city, missing city blocks. The team decides to agree to do one of, as the Mole Man does, to make sure the Sue isn't harmed. They end up being flung up again. It ends up creating more problems. It's very bananas bell from beginning to end. Another funny thing, actually, for a very long time, Iron Man has a secret identity. Yes, I'm serious. They figure out a pretty smart plan involving digging a tunnel, battling tunnel again. Suddenly ends up going pow pow pow. A banging bang goes away. And then Sue gets knocked unconscious. And then they find her. The man's name is her father. Franklin. Now we get a new villain, the evil Invincible Man. Let's bring our the last one off. A new device is being made to try and make him human again. And in the meanwhile, a distant planet with a pretty cool look, I will admit. Something approaches and attacks. By accident, the spell is unintentionally giving him amnesia. Return back to the thing. That was a bit of a waste of time. His name is Franklin. That's the guy's name, Franklin Storm. He is the mysterious evil alien person transports him away. We get to a bit of a backstory. Finally, the crash occurred by complete accident. He ended up killing a loan shark. So he was sentenced to 20 years manslaughter. And a bit of bonkers battle as we're getting to end. And decides to become a really weird looking villain. They do not stand the team that attempts to battle him, but they actually whipped like a rag doll. They end up trying to make sure that they are identical in a central way. And as it turns out, this invisible, powerful person is actually the Super Skrull, who are never goes to life. They end up figuring out a way in order to understand how the plan works. And you find the actual Franklin. They made a living booby trap out of him. He made sure he dive onto his chest to make sure no one could live. I was foolish. Weak. I left the tragedy of life defeat me years ago. I didn't have the courage to carry on as I should have. For you. But now somehow I found my courage. So perhaps I've made up for the years I've wasted. That's why you must not cry. At last I've regained my pride. Think kindly of me, my children. Always remember, I loved you. Never forget how proud you made me. With your honor or value or selfless love. My life has been lonely all these years, but now I'll be lonely no more. Do you hear? I'll be lonely no more, for I'm going to join my beloved. And he dead. And this is the end of this one. Next time we get team up with the Slummerina. Interesting. See you next time. Also, her hair looks really weird.